Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Sounds good to me. All right. So tonight it's currently like 12 o'clock. I recently got a bunch of hardwood. I have a lot of it stored in the backyard inside of my tent. But right now I need some more lumber storage inside of the shop because I kind of maxed it all out and some of the wood needs to dry. So I'm about to build a quick set of storage shelves in the back of the shop. And I have one adjustment I need to do with these doors in the back. Sorry, I needed some water. All right. So before we build our lumber storage in the back, one thing I need to do is these doors have sagged a little bit over time, so they're rubbing at the top and larger gap at the bottom. When I initially hung them, I did do some adjustments, and those adjustments was pretty much just shimming behind the hinges. So what I'm currently about to do now is remove the hinges, remove the shims on the top two hinges, which will pull the hinges in at the top for both sides, and that should open up the door just a little bit. But to do so, I'm going to do one hinge at a time. Just going to put something in front of it, kind of hold it open, and then we can make our adjustment for the hinges. Might need to open it a little bit more. We're going to start with the hinge down here. I'm not going to start at the top just because I'd rather have this one adjusted before I loosen that one. Shim is removed. And then I can drive these screws back in. And we'll do the same for up top. I might need my step ladder. Let me grab that. Hey, we have 18 people in here. I appreciate you guys for being up late with me. Today was a lot of running around and procrastination. Again, recently I picked up a bunch of hardwood. I have some walnut, cherry, some mahogany, red oak, white oak, and we have some of it stashed above our Jorbanet units. We have some over here above that shelf, and then we have some on top of the cabinet back here, and then I have two 10x17 storage tents in the backyard that's holding a lot of the lumber. But everything I want to be immediately using and drying, I kind of want to build a store inside of the shop. So before I can actually do so, I need to build a storage rack in the back of the shop. And before I do all of that, what I want to do, if you guys missed it, these two doors I built probably about a year and a half ago. They have a ton of weight on them between the clamps and everything else. I originally had shimmed the hinges to adjust the door, and now I'm removing the shims on the top hinges to pick the door back up. So we're about to do this side, then that side, and then we're going to add some of these little fold down door openers because I hate having to throw a bucket or whatever to keep the doors open. So those are the two quick projects we're about to take care of, and then we're going to build a set of lumber storage racks back here inside of this room to store some of this extra lumber that we have. All right, shim already fell out. That should have picked everything up a good little bit. Let's see how much, and then we'll do the other side. So yeah, it was actually just rubbing at the top. Now she's not rubbing at all. The gap is still a little uneven, so now I'm actually debating on. But the gap we have at the top is about exactly what I want. So realistically, I probably should throw another shim at the bottom. I'm not gonna do all that tonight. Tonight we'll go with just the. I got tired of these doors rubbing. It's been getting on my nerves for a little bit. I plan to build a T-Astrogold and add a weather stripping and stuff to the bottom of the door. But for right now, the goal was just to make it easier to open and close. Now we're gonna add some of these door stops. Again, I get tired of having to throw a bucket down there. I built these like a year and a half ago and just never did it. So tonight we're gonna get that knocked out. These are pretty simple to install. I don't know if these ones, yeah, they lock up. Yeah, they have a little hasp that'll keep them up. It's a little small rivet in there though. That'll do. The install is going to be pretty easy. I'm going to grab my center finding drill bit, and that should work for those screws. We're going to open up the doors and kind of place these about where I think they need to go. Pre-drill, and then drive in the screws. Let me grab the center finding drill bit and grab a Phillips bit. Probably can get you guys just a little bit closer. We're going to do this door first. Swing the door all the way open. The floor in here isn't the flattest, but I believe as long as I have this installed low enough, is that in frame? Yeah, you guys can see. As long as this is installed low enough, it'll catch the floor. So let's hold her in place, get it flush on the floor, hold it kind of square. Got the hammer drill on. This is one of those really small improvements that you can do, but definitely is going to make a huge difference for me because I hate having to find a trash can or something heavy to keep the doors open. And now, can't pull the door. unless I lock that up. So let's go ahead and do the other side. And I'll move you guys. Probably right there should work. Alright, we're gonna do the same process on this door. Typically my planer's right behind this one, so it can't open but so far. But when I move the planer out, it can swing all the way open. Alright, the less important part is done. Now we can move on to actually building these storage shelves. First thing I need to do is take off one of these hoodies. I currently have two on, and I might not need either. It's actually feeling pretty warm in here. Actually feels great. It's been a while since I can actually be in here without multiple hoodies or shirts. Let alone in the middle of the night and actually break a sweat. So let me show you guys what we're tackling, and then we'll head over to the miter saw to start cutting our parts. So you're gonna want to store some lumber here. I'm pretty sure I have it marked. I'm not sure what you guys can see or how close I am. Zoom it down a little bit. So we have a garage door opener. The track is above us. So what I'm planning on doing is about 71 inches. Have a bracket. I can go up about a foot. And then I have about a foot of storage before the next bracket. So I'll be able to get 3 rows of storage in here. And with those 3 rows of storage, I have boards about 89 inches on this wall right here, and I have plenty of clearance underneath. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make it as low profile as possible, and also use up as much scraps as possible. I have some leftover 2x material. I'm going to end up using some headlock screws to mount them to the wall. I think I have some 4.5-inch headlock screws. The game plan is to screw these to the wall with these 4.5-inch headlock screws, and then from there I'm going to run some plywood, I guess brackets coming off of these. They'll be screwed and glued to the side of this, and I'll probably add some more 2x material in here to kind of fill it up and give me some more to fasten to. Pretty simple process. Again, this is just some leftover 2x material. And if you guys missed the last live stream, you guys missed the updates to the miter saw cart, being the new flip stops and the ability for the wings to expand. And just so if you guys haven't seen them. And then I also added this flip stop. This is a Palk style stop, but it's also works with the expanding wings. So I think I needed these pieces roughly 30 inches. So if I mark it at 30, bring it up to the blade, look down, I like that 30. I come over here and lock down the stop block. And I give my 30-inch cut repeatedly. And I need 3 of these. 2 out of that one. Alright, this will be my 3 2x4s. I'm going to mark a level line back there on the wall, and then we're going to screw these to the studs, and then we'll come to the table saw and rip some plywood, and then we'll start screwing those on to our brackets. It's a really simple process of how I'm thinking this is going to play out. Never really made storage brackets like these, but again, I want them to be as low profile as possible. And let me see what you guys can see. That's just about the whole wall. There we go. Grab my 6-foot level. And again, we already have our pencil line there marked, so I'm gonna come right to it. And mark me a level line. That's where I want the bottom of these 2x4s to land. And these are 3 inches. So what I can do is go ahead and find a stud. And I'm gonna go offside by 1.5 inches. Where's the next stud? Right here. So we'll go about 1.5 inches. I put a mark down here for the center of the stud. And then I can level a line going all the way up. That way, I have something to run my 2x up against. That's enough of a line for me to follow. Oh, I can't get it. I have to mark the other side for this one. I don't feel like unplugging the compressor, so yeah, I'm just gonna mark the other side of where this 2x4 is gonna land. There we go. So now let me grab the head lock screws. Just gonna throw them right there and change bits. And I can just go ahead and eyeball about center of the 2x4. Start one screw. And again, about eyeball. And then I can come right over here to my line. Get her flush to the bottom line. And lined up with my level line. And I think that with 3 screws will hold pretty much anything I need it to. Yeah, we're running the line down here. that's a 4.5 inch screw going through an 1.5 inch board into, 2x4s. So that's going to hold really well. And it's going to make for some quick and easy brackets that will hold, plenty of boards up here on my wall. Drop one. Again, I'm just going to about eyeball center. All right, one more to put up. The next steps to this genius plan is just taking some pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, probably about 3-4 inches wide, and then running them directly off the side. 3-4 inches will give me plenty of room for 3 cabinet head, I think I have some 2.5 inch cabinet head screws, and then I'll probably add another 2x4 here on the face just to give me a way to fasten them together to make a solid sandwich. And then I can just kind of add runners as I go up. I think I'm going to be able to get 3 rows of runners. This will give me plenty of storage for more wood inside the shop. And again, I'm extremely tall, but plenty of head clearance beneath. Let's go rip some plywood. Oh, we got 36 people in there. I greatly appreciate that. Let me clear off the table saw and then grab the material we're going to use. I think I have enough room back there to get like 18 inches, give or take, on my brackets. So That's 17. That's decent enough. I can get like a 12-inch board and then probably like a 1x6. This will give me 4. And these are all the same length and same width, roughly. So 11 3/4. I wonder how would a 2.5-inch piece look? Yeah, I think that'd be too ambitious if it's only 2.5 inches wide and then sticking out this far. Probably. Yeah, so I'm gonna go, I think at least 3 inches. Maybe 4 for real. What is 11 3/4 divided by 3? 3.5, 3.5, and 3.5 is 9, 10, 10.5. It's going to be 2 cuts of minus a quarter. That's 10 3/4 and 1 inch divided by 3. Like what is that? Like 5/16. So 3 and 3/4, 3 and 13/16. That math might have sounded crazy, but I think 3 and 13/16 will give me a wide enough piece. I can get 3 out of these. So 3, 6, 9. There's 3 brackets. I'm gonna need 2 for each. So 6. If I want to do 2 rows, I need 12. So that would be 3, 6, 9, 12. That'll give me 2 rows of brackets. The top row, if I decide to put one up there, I can do that later. So yeah, rip these to 3 and 3/16. I don't even need to cut them to length because they're already short enough. And then we'll go back there and screw them to the board. And then from there, I'll look at how I'm going to reinforce it. Again, I have a 2x4 that's running vertically up the wall. So I can take another 2x4. And if I wanted to pocket screw it to that 2x4, probably add another little brace piece underneath of it that's smaller than this 3 and 13/16. And I can kind of drop screws from both sides to sandwich everything together. I can throw some glue and stuff on it. There's several different options on how I can strengthen it. So we're going to get into that, and we'll really just see how much weight it can hold at base and see how much more I want to do to it. Throw this scrap away and then make our rips. Also, let me check my phone. When I started, I was only at 50%. Where are we at? Very good. We should be able to finish this. Take a sip of water and light a cigarette. Alright, and just like that, we have all of our strips made. These can get glued and tacked on, and then I'll drive in some of these 2.5-inch GRK screws, which actually I am running lower on than I thought. I have some other 2.5-inch screws though. Oh, they're in my truck and I'm not going to get them. Actually, wait, I have those little shorter cabinet head screws. I have another box of 2.5-inch. Yeah, they're probably in the truck. And I am not making that trip tonight. So these may get tacked, but I gotta have enough at least to do one shelf. So I just took my hoodies off. Do I not have any other 2.5-inch screws in here? Oh, the beauties of moving a bunch of stuff around and not being completely organized always comes back to those nails. Those are only 1.5 inches. I might have to run out to the truck. Oh wait. Oh, those are only 1.5 inches. Okay, if you guys can pardon me just for a second, I'm going to run out to the truck. It's right outside in the driveway. I'm just going to grab some 2.5-inch screws, and then we'll move back to the back room and get all these installed and braced, and then move all the lumber that is currently sitting on my front bench back there. We have a bunch of poplar, some of that's mahogany. I have like 2 pieces of cherry and a slab of unknown. And then in my backyard, I have an entire tent full of hardwood. Again, it was actually a pretty good deal. So far, that whole stack up there is walnut. That whole stack is walnut. And about 75% of the stack up there is walnut. All 5/4 by 8s and some 5/4 by 12s. So I have a couple projects I have planned for all those, and I have an entire tent full up of I don't even know how much walnuts out there or how much mahogany and such is out there. So I just need more space inside the shop so I can drive more stuff. So let me take this apron off real quick. I'll be right back. I might run outside. Actually, I can leave the apron on. Let me grab my keys. And, oh no, I don't want the mic to disconnect. Because I wouldn't know if the audio goes out. So yeah, I'm going to take this off and I'll run outside and grab some screws. Oh wait, is this the right here? Yes, they are. Haha. I was gearing up to go outside and I do not have to. I call that blessings. All right. So let me switch over my bits. Grab the glue. And let me move you guys back to the room. Also, this back room of my shop is probably one of the most underutilized spaces. Currently, just my dust collector sits in here until I mount it on the wall, and I have this exercise bike that I use a lot. But yeah, we're working on this space right now. But until I actually get the other tools, being the CNC, lathe, etc., this space is going to work just fine for storage. And I'm also being pretty lazy. I probably should hook up my staple gun, so this is a lot easier for me. Yeah, I'm going to do that just so I'm not fighting nothing. No need to struggle when you don't have to. Especially when you have the tools. That should be plenty of air hoses. It's 18 gauge gun, 1.25 staples, glue, screws, and the levels are right there. All right, cool. This installation process should also go pretty quick. There's not really much to it. The stiffening, or however I'm going to reinforce them, that's another story. But it'll probably just be adding some 2x4s and more screws. Essentially, the plan is, one, I wanted to make sure that these don't come out past my garage door opener. But I have all these bottoms lined up on that line. So if I take this board, glue, staple to the side, then I can drive in screws. I'm going to have another one on this side. And I'm going to run a level line all the way across. That'll be my first level. And then if I need to, again, I can add 2x4 blocking in here to give me more to fasten to keep it from racking or torsioning off. So just a little bit of glue. Then we're going to bring it in and go flush to the bottom. That's just tacked into place. And then we can take one of these 2.5-inch GRK cabinet head screws. They have a large washer head on them. And with this being 3 3/16, I should be able to sink 3 or 4 of these right here in the side. Which should make for a nice and strong hold. And yeah, these brackets have to be at least 3 inches, give or take, but they are saving me the space of having to do any type of angle brackets or anything else underneath these. Because if each one of these had bracings in them, I would lose that much more storage going up. So I decided just to go with a thick piece of plywood, and I think that's going to be fine. And yeah, again, add some other blocking in here just to keep it nice and rigid. Because yeah, if I fill in that space in between with another board, that'll give me the ability to simultaneously lock these two together which will just make them that much stronger. And actually, before I do the other side, I'm going to tack one over here. Then I'm going to set the level on it. That way I know they're all going to be in line with each other. No need to guess it. Just in case the bottoms aren't where exactly I want them to be. Because again, it's roughly 1 o'clock in the morning. And I am not building fine furniture right now. I have a cabinet I need to start building tomorrow, which is also why my lumber storage situation needs to be solved tonight. I originally had everything inside of my tents, and then that if you guys live in the area, or maybe it was everywhere, got a pretty decent amount of wind probably about 2 days ago, and it completely ripped my tent away. So all the lumber I had stored outside was uncovered. So I spent yesterday getting tents back up, flipping the shed around, and doing that stuff, which kind of pushed me back on doing this cabinet. And now I have the cabinet material, but my garage is still, full of stuff. So the goal tonight is to get my shop ready to build that cabinet in the morning, so I can have it ready for install come Friday. Fingers crossed. And now that I have 2 up, I can just take this, little that up there, and it's sitting level like we planned it. Always nice. So now the rest of these just come out and go up flush to the level. That way I don't have to worry about them being out of square or out of line with each other. I could also put there's there's another stud here and another stud over there. I could throw another one. These boards I'm gonna put back here about 85. They'll hang off a couple inches. I'm not too worried about them. Maybe I'll add some in the corners later. Not really too pressed on it right now. The goal is again to get the stuff off the workbench and clear up the space for this cabinet for tomorrow. I really don't even need to go all the way up to the ceiling. I think I only need 1 row of shelves. Brackets to get all that stuff up and out of the way. But I honestly think without any of the reinforcement, I think this is actually going to hold up just fine, just how it is. Let me switch hands. Beautiful. It's like I had a plan. I'm getting glue on me. They already hold a decent amount of weight, so I think that'll be more than fine when I finish. You know, that air compressor hasn't kicked on yet. I know when it does, it's gonna scare the shit out of me. I can just feel it doing it any second now. And everybody's gonna hear me scream a little bit. I greatly appreciate it. We're still sitting at over 15 people. I greatly appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Hopefully this gives you guys some ideas for some simple and easy storage solutions inside of your shop. Or maybe you guys just like watching woodworking videos. I wouldn't really consider this one woodworking though. I thought I saw a bug flying overhead. All right. Now we gotta do the next row. Oh, I thought I was missing something there and there. So from this row to the garage door opener, we have 20 inches. These still stop before we actually get out to the garage door opener. And then the garage door with the wheels sit up higher. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come up 12 inches. Really, I don't think I need to do any bracing, but just to keep it from flexing like that, I think, again, a 2x4 going back to it. I think, yeah, probably some toe screws or something. I probably can put it further toward the bottom, because if it wants to rack, it's going to pull down. So if it's attached and pushed up against, yep, that's the game plan. So I cut a bunch of 2x4s that fit in here and attach them to the bottom. Yes, they are lumber shelves. Just using some scrap 2x4s and some leftover plywood. I recently came into a bunch of hardwood. I think when I counted it up yesterday, what I have inside the shop is roughly $1,800 in walnut. And I don't know how much of it I have outside. I have just a bunch of different species out there. I haven't even sorted that stuff yet. So I'm trying to get more storage inside of the shop so I can kind of separate what I want. Like I can have a whole section in here of walnut, a whole section of mahogany, a whole section of cherry. Kind of gives me the flexibility to air dry and acclimate the pieces that I'm going to use. Is the thought process anyway. And again, I have a couple different storage spots inside the shop. This wall right now, until I get a CNC and stuff back here, it's kind of vacant. I do plan to build a bank of cabinets right here. But again, until that process happens, might as well use it for storage. Alright, let me mark that side for 12. Damn it, I keep knocking over that box of screws. Again, this air compressor hasn't kicked on yet. I know it's waiting to scare the shit out of me. Let's measure up 12 inches. Wipe off that glue that's on my tape measure blade. And then square a line. Whew. So alrighty. I really can't wait till I get a 3/8 retractable hose in here. That really thick hose is only good for like an impact for your car. But using that for nail guns, it's not flexible enough. Alright, one more to put in. And then we'll do a little bit of reinforcing. And then I can move all this wood back here. think this is enough storage to solve my lumber problem. And realistically, I actually think it's strong enough how it is now. But I am going to throw a 2x4 in here closer toward the bottom and then kind of sandwich it with a couple screws. So again, if this ever wants to pull down, there'll be a 2x4 pushing up against this one. So it'll kind of stop it from going, it'll stop it from falling, and it'll take care of that flex right there because it's just 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood. But it's a low profile lumber storage system. I can add another rung to the very top. Probably will when I run out of space. And I think it's a great use of scraps. So let's go back to the, how deep are these? These are like 15 inches. Let's go cut a couple 15-inch pieces on the miter saw. Then we'll come back over here and install those. And then I can start loading it up with lumber. Alright, we need 15 inches. Don't know if this stop block will reach 15. Doesn't look like it. And it looks like it's just past 15. So I can grab just another random piece of wood. Something ideally square. Eventually I'm going to get like a 10-inch story pole or something. Well, actually, let me just cut one right now. So if I bring this over here to 15, my stop block, again, I can't quite get there, but I can put this piece up to it, and then bring my stop block right to this piece. So now, that is my stop block. And that'll give me 15 inches. And I need 6 of those. And again, these are just going to fill in the space in between the brackets, which are going to help stiffen everything up. Alright, and then I need one more. Alright. Let's bring the camera back there. We'll install these pieces. and that will greatly increase the strength of these brackets. Can you guys see them all? Yeah. Phew. I am not gonna lie, I am actually kind of tired. But I want to get this done and all this wood put up. And let me again double check my battery. When I started the live stream, my phone was on 60. And we're at 21. So I might not do them all. I might just do this bottom row and then switch to starting getting all this loaded up. Because I definitely want you guys to see again what this whole thing is for. But I do need to rip some stickers real quick. And again, for a temporary quick tack, I'm just going to be using some staples. What I'm going to do is firmly press it. Oh yeah, this is snug. That's going to be in there like so. Sandwich. Sandwich. I'm going to drop some screws and staples in that. But essentially, that just made it a lot stronger. Because again, these pieces of plywood can't pull down unless they either break these staples. But this board is also pushing toward the 2x4 that's up against the wall. So when I add some screws in here, actually let me do that and just show you guys. I could also add some glue and stuff on it, but again, I think after that little pull test I just did, I think these are going to be more than fine. What I plan to put up here, I only have 12 inches of space. I'm old. I haven't done a pull-up in a while. Yeah, so I think 3 of those going across. It's only for 84, 89-inch boards or whatever this wall is. I can always add 2 more on the corners. I think this build will be plenty strong. And again, what makes it so strong though is again that this is down toward the bottom. Once it gets attached, it can't leverage down because it's already pressed up firmly against the 2x4. And the beauty is again, all this is done with some unimportant scraps. There you go. Simple method for really strong brackets. There we go. Now we're gonna rip up some stickers and start moving boards back here before the phone dies. Let's see where we at percentage wise. Oh, we're at 11%. Let's see if we got time. A bunch of quick stickers. I'll probably just go like 3/4 by 3/4. How long are these? 15s. I almost forgot my phone was dying. I don't really have time to cut them all. But you guys get the gist. We're going to have a bunch of stickers. Get you guys back here to where y'all can see. And I was gonna load up a couple boards and try to do a sign out before she dies. So these two boards, ouch, are poplar. They're slightly wet and they have a little bit of mold on them. I ran these through the planer to get the initial mold and stuff off. And now they can sit back here and just let the air hit them and do them some justice. Let me check my phone. Oh, we're down to 1%, so I'm going to have to end it here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please smash that like button.